Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naro Seva Narottanam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jamudirayat Nastabhaya Bhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatu Tamasloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistike. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 57, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I mean, Chapter 24, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, text 57, 9, 24, 57. The verses on the board. Nahi asya janmano hetu. Nahi asya janmano hetu. Karmano va mahipate. Karmano va mahipate. Atmamayam vinesasya parasya drashtuh atmanaha. Nahi yasya janmano hetu.
Switch off.
Karmano va mahipate. Atmamayam vinesasya parasya drashtuh atmanaha. Nahi yasya janmano hetu. Karmano va mahipate. Atmamayam vinesasya parasya drashtuh atmanaha. Nahi yasya janmano hetu. Karmano va mahipate. Atmamayam vinesasya parasya drashtuh atmanaha. Nahi asya janmano hetu. Karmano va mahipate. Atmamayam vinesasya parasya drashtuh atmanaha. Nahi asya janmano hetu. Karmano va mahipate. Atmamayam vinesasya parasya drashtuh atmanaha. Mataji, please. Nayasya janmana bhayito Kamano Vamai Pate Atma Mayam Vinitsasya Parasya Dastu Atman. Word for word translation. Now, not he, indeed, Asya, of him, the Supreme Personality of God, Janmanaha, of the appearance or taking birth. Hetu, there is any cause. Karmanaha, or for acting. Va, either. Mahipate, O King, Maharaj Pariksit, Atmamayam, His supreme compassion for all the fallen souls. Vina, without, is Sasya, of the supreme controller. Parasya, of the personality of Godhead, who is beyond the material world. Drashtu, of the super soul, who witnesses everyone's activities. Atmana, of the super soul, of everyone. Translation and purport. Abhijit Navinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. O King Maharaj Pariksit, but for the Lord's personal desire, there is no cause for his appearance, disappearance, or activities. As a super soul, he knows everything. Consequently, there is no cause that affects him, not even the results of fruitive activities. Purport. This verse points out the difference between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and an ordinary living being. An ordinary living being receives a particular type of body according to his past activities. Karmana devinetrena chanturteya papataye, Srimad Bhagavatam 3:31. A living being is never independent and can never appear independently. Rather, one is forced to accept a body imposed upon him by Maya according to his past karma. As explained in Bhagavad Gita 18:61, Yantra Udani Maya. The body is a kind of machine created and offered to the living entity by the material energy under the direction of the Supreme Personality of God. Therefore, the living entity must accept a particular type of body awarded to him by Maya, the material energy, according to his karma. One cannot independently say, give me a body like this, or give me a body like that. One must accept whatever body is offered by the material energy. This is the position of the ordinary living being. When Krishna descends, however, he does so out of his merciful compassion for the fallen souls. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya sadhuskritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavani yuge yuge, to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion. I advance myself millennium after millennium. The Supreme Lord is not forced to appear. Indeed, no one can subject him to force, for he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everyone is under his control, and he is not under the control of anyone else. Foolish people who, because of a poor fund of knowledge, think that one can equal Krishna or become Krishna are condemned in every way. No one can equal or surpass Krishna, who is therefore described as Samartha, according to the Vishvakosha dictionary. The word Maya is used in the sense of false pride and also in the sense of compassion. For an ordinary living being, the body in which he appears is punishment. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 7:14, Devaye Saguna Maye Mama Maya Durachaya. This divine energy of mind consists of the three modes of material nature. It's difficult to overcome. But when Krishna comes, the word Maya refers to his compassion or mercy upon the devotees and fallen souls. By his potency, the Lord can deliver everyone, whether sinful or pious. Read the verse again. Nahi asya janmano hetu karmano vama dipati atmamayam vinessasya parasya drashtur atmana. Much breaks it. But for the Lord's personal desire, there is no cause for his appearance, disappears in activity. As a super soul, he knows everything. Consequently, there is no cause that affects him, not even the results of fruitive activities. Om Magyana Timandasna Sanusavasana Chakshun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Chitchetanya Manopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svamrupkadhamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shiro Shiyoda Padakamanam Shirom Vaishnavam Sha Shirupam Jagajatam Saganaragnatam Tam Tam Sativam Satvaitam Savadutam Bhajan Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saganalita Shivishakam Vitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jyotpate Kopesha Kopka Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhi Vinameshwari Krishabhani Sutadevi Pranamama Haripriya Pankha Kalpa Vishaki Pasimva Vishapadna Bhavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Ram, Ram, Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Mutali Bhakti Vinata Swami Tinamini Namaste Saraswata Devi Gauravani Pacharani Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskachai Desatar Srila Prabhupada Ki. In the Bhagavad Gita, at the end of the 15th chapter, the last 5 verses, it's called Trishloka Gita, and this is essential to understand Krishna's position and our position. So in the first verse there of the Trishloka Gita, it said that it's the liberated soul and the conditioned souls that they are. So in the second verse says, above this conditioned and liberated souls, there is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he's above both. The Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport there that the conditioned or liberated both are under control of the energy of the Supreme Lord. In the material world, we are under control of the material laws, which are very stringent. And in the spiritual world, we are under control of the spiritual energy. But we are always under control, that's our position. We have some small freedom, which we can execute, but in the spiritual world, we have much more freedom. So first is understanding the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. At the end, I must speak about Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. Should not forget. Yeah. So that is mentioned here. There is no cause for the appearance or disappearance or activities of the Supreme Lord. He is not under control of anyone. 7.5 in the 7th chapter, it is said that no one can excel the Supreme Lord. No one is greater. Brahmano ipatishtanam. He controls even the Brahman. Brahman is his energy. So that's the difference between us and the Supreme Lord. But we are under these laws of material nature. Karma deva netrena. That we are put in the womb of a mother to the semen of the father, under the supervision of the Supreme Lord. So yes, we cannot say, I want this body or that body. No, you will be given a body according to your past activities. And what kind of body? That's very precise. According to your past karma, you get exactly the body that you deserve. Very precise. And because we know in the body we have genes. The genes show the kind of body that you have, but more subtle even, the super soul in the heart directs the soul, all the cells in your body to give you your reactions of your past deeds. At a certain moment you develop a certain disease, you don't know from where it comes. That's also the super soul that does everything. It's very precise. We cannot say, oh, I don't deserve it. Well, that I'm a victim. No, we are not victims. But we are the cause of this disease by our previous karma. So you can say, yes, it's our karma. I spoke about that with Gopaswami in New Mayapur. He's a doctor. And he said, yes, it's karma. You must get a disease and so on. That's okay. But with right medicine, right treatment, you have a, a liberty to do something about it between certain limits. And that's what you can do. That's what the civil soul allows. Yeah. It's not that one says it's my karma, so why should I take a medicine? No, we take a medicine that to help to cure it. That this is mentioned also by Prahlad Maharaj. He says, even the best doctor can prescribe a treatment, a good treatment, and still his patient dies. Or parents can try to protect their children, but they may be unsuccessful. Yes, that's what Prahlad Maharaj said. It's very, very precise that this, yeah. There are many stories about reincarnations that we have seen. Bharat Maharaj was meditating on a deer instead of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he got exactly a body what he was meditating on. That. But his karma was different. He was already on the level of bhava, preliminary love of Godhead. And he retained his spiritual consciousness in the body of a deer. That's a mercy of the Supreme Personality of God. It's very, very exceptional, such thing like that. Mostly we forget everything. So we are never independent. And we never are, we have to accept the body. And that body is also under control of Krishna. Ishvara Shavabhutanam Ritishayunatistayam Pramyam Sumabhutanam Yantrudai Maya. Krishna says, I am controlling the wanderings of all living entities who are seated. I'm sitting in their hearts, and I control all their wanderings, of all what they do. That they are sitting in this yantra Udai Maya, this machine made of material energy. That's a very, Srila Prabhupada say it's a punishment, but think about it. All this food and this digestion is going on, then stool comes out, you're going so dirty. It's such a machine. It's not the best body, spiritual body. You don't have all these things. So we try to keep it in goodness, clean. Therefore, we take 2-3 times a bath during the day to keep it. But yes, that's the body that we get according to our past karma. And we are not independent. So understanding this is knowledge, how this happens, how this transmigration happens, how the super soul is controlling everything. That is knowledge. Most people say we believe what we see, but you cannot see that control of this person. We don't have the senses for that. We don't have the intelligence even for that. But we can know that the super soul controls everything. And then we become humble. We pray to Krishna, please help me. Because these laws of karma, Krishna says the intricacies of the laws of karma are very difficult to understand. That's very difficult to understand. So knowledge. This knowledge, of course, to understand our situation. Krishna said, we have a Bhagavad Gita, Imam Vishvasvateyuham. Is that Bhagavad Gita?
Yeah.
Imam Vishvasvateyuham Bhaktavam Amabhyam. It's the 4th chapter, next one. Yeah. Vivashvana Vibram Anurstva Kavibravich. So he instructed his son first, did this knowledge first to the son of Vivashvana. And then instructed to Manu. Manu instructed to Ikshvaku. But then Krishna says, yes, this knowledge comes down. Then a little further he says, Apram bhavatu janma param janma vivashvata katamita vijaniyam tvamado puktavamiti. But the Vishvashvan was senior to you by birth, was millions of years ago. He took birth. And you took appearance recently more. How can I understand? In the beginning, you instructed this science to him. How can you know? So he says, you. And what does Krishna reply? Baruni me vyatitani janma tavasayana tanyam vedat sarvani natvam veta parantava. That Krishna says, you and me, we have gone to so many births. I remember them all, Krishna saying, and you not. And what's the reason? Because you change bodies. And I don't change body. I appear in my original body. No change. But like when you move from one apartment to the other, you go to the next apartment and you have to learn, oh, there is a living room, there is a toilet, there is things. And soon you forget about the previous apartment. So by changing bodies, we forget. Krishna is unborn, he has the same self, same body. And the reality is, we cannot even control our own body. It's a super soul who controls it. There are 5 factors of action. The body, you have the body, you have the senses, you have the subtle body, all the endeavors that come up in your mind, the super soul is from the subtle material platform. You have the super soul, and the super soul controls all 3. And we are only desiring. If we desire, then it will happen. But so the conditional soul cannot, but at the same time, we are completely controlled, but we cannot understand that we are under the control of material nature. That's Maya. Very strong. We cannot understand that. So under the influence of material nature, we think ourselves the controller of material nature. So the Lord as now goes for his appearance. He appears out of his own sweet will. But why does he appear? That's mentioned in the first canto of the Bhagavatam. He appears to he appears to rescue those who are situated in pure goodness. Pure goodness is Krishna consciousness. Parityānaya sadhana. But that's good to understand the problem. That's one thing. We understand the problem. But what's the solution? Prabhupada in the purport. Because interesting in this purport, he gives like the essence of Krishna consciousness. It says, Devayesa gunamaya mama maya dharachya mami vaye papa maya mama evaye papant mama evaye papachate maya metam tarantite. So Devayesam gunamaya mama maya dharachya. This material energy, Krishna is saying, is very difficult to overcome. Even understanding that we are not the doer, we are also the doer by desire, but not what this body does. That's done by the super soul. That it's so strong, that like when I'm sitting here, I'm thinking I'm speaking. That's factually the super soul. I only desire, but I think I'm doing it. But that's just false ego. So what's the solution? Maye vaye pavachate. We surrender to the Supreme Lord, and then mayam edam tarantite. If you surrender, you can easily cross beyond this material nature. Surrender means following the dictations of the super soul. The super soul is doing everything we desire. If our desire is the same desire as the super soul, then we are in harmony. And then you don't get reactions for what you do. Like a soldier on the battlefield, he follows the orders of his authorities and he kills the enemy on the order of the authority, not on his own initiative. If he does it in time of peace, killing someone, he will be punished. But in wartime, he's not punished. So if we follow the directions of the super soul, we are the servant, the instrument of the super soul. And that is Krishna consciousness, Srila Prabhupada says, following the dictations of the super soul. So what's the point? Every time we do something, then we should think, do I please Krishna with that? Is that what Krishna wants me to do? On your own, with your own understanding, you will not get out of it. Prahlad would ask Srila Prabhupada, how do I know what Krishna wants me to do? And Prabhupada said, you will do the wrong thing. So we can understand on our own understanding, we will not know. Therefore, we must follow Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. All three. And always confirm the three with each other. And then we are sure. If you are not sure, don't do it. Wait. Don't run in something passionate. Always be sure. What I'm going to do is that the instruction of my Guru Maharaj. Will Prabhupada be pleased if I do it? And that's surrender. Surrender. You become the servant. And what happens when you do that? Maya metam tarantite. You are protected. You don't get reactions. You become purified. Then you connect with the divine energy. We need to become a Mahatma. Mahatmanas tumam bhakta devim pragati ashita. The Mahatmas, the great souls, they take shelter of the divine energy. How do you take shelter of the divine energy? How do you connect with the divine energy? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archambanam, Daksham, Atmani Vedanam. 9 processes of devotional service. Nava Anga Bhakti. That 9 processes. And the first 3 are essentials, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam. That's all included in Kirtan. Therefore, what the Mahatmas do, Krishna says, is Satatam Kirtayantam. They are always doing Kirtan, glorifying the Supreme Lord, serving to glorify the Supreme Lord. Kirtan of Sankirtan is more broadly, means every activity to glorify the Supreme Lord. And then we can be rescued from this prison house. Prabhupada makes it very clear in this book. This body is a machine to give you pain, he says. Do we realize that? My Gurus, Bhakti Charan's would always say, but what pleasure can your finger give you? And what pain can it give you? You can smash it, you can burn it. There's so many ways to endure it, and pain from a finger, but what pleasure can it give? That realizing this body is a machine to give you pain. And the pain comes, hunger, feelings, pain. But still we can use this machine in Krishna's service. And if our consciousness is connected with the divine in devotional service, we become absorbed in Krishna, Manmana, and Bhavamat Bhakto Majai, and we become his devotee, and we become absorbed in his service. We forget about the body. That we are on another platform, on the platform of the soul. If the awareness of the body slackens, that's in the higher positions of devotional service. Bhava. That Bharat Maharaj achieved this bhava. But still, he became attracted again by something lower. That's a warning for us. Don't put your consciousness in things which are not related with Krishna. And if you have to do things that are not related with Krishna, connect them with Krishna. Connect them with Krishna. That's the point. That's the method. Therefore, you need a spiritual master to do that. So yes, this is difficult to overcome, but Lord Chaitanya had made it very easy for us. Yes, I heard yesterday that, like, we have Radha Manohar here. If you say if a devotee brings a flower and puts the flower, Srila Prabhupada said, and the devotee puts the flower in Radharani's hand and says to Radharani, please offer it to Krishna. then Srimati Radharani will be very pleased that, and she will tell to Krishna, here is a devotee who is better than me, please give your mercy. When Srila Prabhupada arrived in Boston, then the shipment to New York, he wrote his 2 poems. And one of the 2 poems, one is Markini Bhagavat Dharma, but the other poem was Prayer to the Lotus Feet of Krishna. And in that poem there is a refrain that, and that refrain says, "Oh my brother, I tell you, unless you get the mercy of Srimati Radharani, your life is wasted." So we approach Krishna to Srimati Radharani. That is how to approach Krishna, not directly. How to do that? That we are not qualified to even approach Srimati Radharani. But we have Lord Chaitanya. Who is Lord Chaitanya? That Sri Krishna, Chaitanya, Radha, Krishna, Anga. It's Radha and Krishna together. It is Krishna in the mood of Srimati Radharani in this very compassionate mood. So therefore, in this Kali Yuga, we have to approach Krishna through Lord Chaitanya. Therefore we chant a Panchatattva mantra before we chant a Hare Krishna mantra to get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So we can pray to Lord Chaitanya that he is in the compassion mood of Srimati Radharani. And by serving Lord Chaitanya nicely, we get the mercy of Srimati Radharani. But the spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, and the spiritual master are a representative of this, of Lord Chaitanya in the disciplic succession. And they are the via medium of the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and the mercy of Srimati Radharani. And that's something very important to consider. So a main point that is made here in the purpose is, yes, we should understand Krishna's position as the super soul here. And never think that we are the doer. If we think we are the doer, then it's thinking we are equal to Krishna. And if we think we are equal to Krishna, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, we are condemned. So always in this humble mood, that taking shelter of the instructions of the spiritual master, and then Mayam etam tarantite, we can overcome this influence of material nature, and we start to see things as they are. That as long as we are in the modes of nature, we cannot see things as they are. When the devotee said to Prabhupada, thank you, by giving us your knowledge and your blessings, that we have some hope. Otherwise, we would have been in Maya. Prabhupada's reply was, you are always in Maya. That is our position. We are always in Maya. But by this knowledge, by the instructions of the spiritual master, we can act on the spiritual platform and we become purified. And after 30, 40 years, 50 years of purification, we start to see things clear on the spiritual platform. It takes a while. But Utsayani Siadaya, we can come to that platform. It's very sure. It depends on our sincerity. That sincerity must also grow. So these are important instructions, understanding Krishna's position as a super soul, that we are victims of our own desires in this material world. But Krishna has no material desires. But he desires to get us back to the spiritual world. He's waiting until we have worked out things here. And it takes a while. But, so thank you. Any comments? Oh, good questions. Okay. Read.
I have a question to better understand this statement from the shloka today that we are fully controlled by mind and by super soul. So first, as I understand, like mind is material side of it, super soul is the controller of mind. So Krishna Bhagavad Gita gives like example, so it's in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's two types of souls, eternally liberated and eternally conditioned. So does this shloka effectively apply to conditioned souls, or liberated souls are also controlled by super soul?
First, you have eternally liberated, Nitya Siddhi, you have the Nitya Bada, eternally conditioned. First, we need to understand what it is. What does it mean? That Srila Prabhupada explains Nitya Bada means that you cannot trace back your history of becoming, of having become conditioned. We cannot. It's too long. It's too complicated. We cannot. Don't try. That does not mean that the Nitya Bada cannot become a Nitya Siddhi. It can. Even if you become a Nitya Siddhi, the devotee asks Srila Prabhupada, when I go to the spiritual world, I do not come back. Srila Prabhupada said, yes. The devotee asked, and if I want to come back, can I come back? Srila Prabhupada said, yes. You have this free will. That's important. That to understand this point of Nitya Bada, Nitya Vidya, Nitya Siddha, it's not an eternal situation. It says Nitya because we cannot trace it back. That's the point. But how does the super soul, how are we controlled? It's through the mind. Control is to the mind. Material nature conditions us to the mind. Therefore, yoga, the first principle is to control the mind, to purify the mind. And then we can see things as they are. What was your question again?
Eternally liberated souls, are they also under control of super soul?
The eternal liberated souls are under control of the spiritual energy in the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, there is no super soul, there is Krishna directly. So that's not there. Super soul has this function, and that's explained in the creation in the Bhagavatam. Again, and creation is explained 2 times. And there it's created, you have the 3, the 3 Krishna avatars who are responsible for the creation. Karnodakasaya Vishnu, Karpotakasaya Vishnu, Kshildakasaya Vishnu. And Kshildakasaya Vishnu is Antaryami. He spreads into every atom as the super soul Antaryami. Kshildakasaya Vishnu. Therefore, the demigods, they took birth, most of the Yadus were demigods, because Krishna told them, or Kshildakasaya Vishnu told to Brahma when he went to the Milk Ocean on behalf of Bhumi, that who had problems with the demoniac here on the earth, that so Kshildakasaya Vishnu told them to take birth, to appear in the Yadu dynasty to these demigods, which they did. So these demigods cannot understand who Krishna is. They understand who Kshildakasaya Vishnu is. That they understand. And they understand that the Supreme Lord is the super soul in everyone's heart. But they cannot understand that Krishna is Bhagavan. And therefore, yes, Uddhav, he was a pure devotee, and he felt pity for these Yadus. He was saying, these Yadus, they are like a fish in the water. Fish sees the light of the moon, but they cannot understand what the moon is. So Krishna lives amongst them, but they cannot understand what Krishna is. And that's interesting. Anyway, does that help?
Yeah, so demigods, they understand the super soul.
Yeah.
They are not controlled by super soul, but
They are also controlled by the super soul.
super soul.
Yeah, demigods are also controlled by the super soul, also in their heart.
So they're not demigods, but Nitya Siki. They're super soul, but they control.
Vaikuntha Vasis, there is no super soul there. That's a spiritual world. That's something else. That's beyond. That yeah, we want to go to that place. So therefore, we must know who Krishna is and live in our relationship with it. But interesting is for devotees from Bhakti Yoga Parivada, this verse says, yeah, Krishna, if the devotee's heart becomes pure, then Krishna takes seat in the super soul, seat in the heart of the devotee, in the form we will feel attracted to. So for us devotees, the super soul becomes Krishna, who is in our heart. Therefore, that's our process. We worship the deity. Lord Kapila Dev says that the purpose of deity worship is to see the deity on the altar and transfer it to your heart and feel always there's Krishna in your heart. But yes. Okay, thank you. Yes.
And Krishna Maharaj, does the Krishna protects fully the neophyte devotee?
Okay, that's a good question. Does Krishna protect fully the neophyte devotee? I hope so, because I'm also a neophyte, so it's a good question. That yes, he protects the devotees, but he protects the devotees and gives the devotee what he needs to advance. Will give you what you need, not what you want. And yes, so a devotee sees everything in his life as the mercy of the Lord. And it is the mercy of the Lord. That's sometimes we cannot understand this, that, there is that story with this king. The king had a Vaishnava prime minister. And the king went on a hunting exercise. During the hunting, he injured his finger, and he lost a part of his finger. Yeah, you know the story. And then the king, the minister said, yes, this is Krishna Kripa, the mercy of Krishna. And the king became angry. How can you say that it's the mercy of Krishna? I lost my part of my finger. I throw you in jail. He appointed another minister. A few months later, he went out again hunting, and at that time he was attacked by dacoits, and they were worshipping Durga, and their priest was offering human offers to Durga, and they were going to offer the king. And they prepared the offering, so they bathed him, perfume, and so on. And then the head priest came to verify the offerable human, and he found out that he's missing a part of his finger. Throw him out, not offerable. And they offered the minister instead. And he ran back to the palace, and he came to the palace, and then he remembered the words of his minister. Yes, good that I was injured, that it saved my life. But when he threw the minister in jail, he said, yes. Then the minister said also, when he was thrown in jail, that's also the mercy of Krishna. So then, therefore the king asked, yes, I understand now, this was the mercy of Krishna, but when I threw you in jail, I said that's also the mercy of Krishna. How is that the mercy? Well, the minister said, if I would not have been thrown in jail, I had gone with you on the hunting exercise, and they would not have offered you, but they would have offered me. So in that way, mercy. But of course, we see the mercy of Krishna. Sometimes he uses our karma in such a way that because we have still material desires and they are very stubborn, we don't want to give them up. We say to Krishna, I want to give them up, but not right now. But then Krishna gives you a situation in which you have to give it up. And it's painful. That's Krishna's mercy. So your life becomes a learning. Is that okay? Yeah. No, not as yet.
About sincerity, I was visiting my sister, and more than 10 years ago, she had cancer. So I went to visit her, and I told her, Chandra, then I moved the queue. She said, oh, really? I want to be here, I want to die. So she kept chanting. So I understood, okay, she took some faith. And by Krishna's grace, he was healed. So when I read now, I see I was watching her. She's wasting time for some other things, not challenging. So I asked her, I said, you are not sick. And she said, yes, I am. Because you are wasting time, unnecessary not challenging. She said, no, I forgot. So how can you forget to see me chanting everything? How can you forget to see? So we were discussing, now we were asking about what action sensitivity means.
Mm.
You must like the message she sees, but she doesn't forget.
Yeah. If you chant to be cured of cancer, that's not very sincere, because the body has to go anyway. That's not the purpose of chanting. Of course, it's good for preaching that he did it.
Forget.
Yeah, at that time. But that's faith, or the sincerity of the faith will only grow when we have knowledge. If it's not backed up by knowledge, then it doesn't grow. And then we are in a dangerous situation. Therefore, we must read and chant together.
She's really good. She's really, she must,
Oh, that's good.
she must really, she doesn't understand.
Yeah. Then the problem is that she must have association with the book.
She doesn't.
That again, that's always what my Guru Maharaj said. That my Guru Maharaj said, if you are alone, Maya will get you. But if you are in association of devotees, it's like one stick you can break easily, but many sticks together difficult to break. So that's important, association of devotees. But otherwise, Maya will get us. Hare Krishna. Okay.
So Maharaj, you said that when we think I'm doing something, we are not under the false ego.
We are doing something, but we are only a part of the doing. There are 4 other factors. Krishna says, when we forget the 5 factors of action and thinks that he is the only doer, he is in illusion. So we are the doer with desiring, but what we desire to do will only happen if Krishna allows. And that's the part they forget. That's the problem. And that's false ego. We cannot achieve anything without the mercy of Krishna. That's okay?
It seems, Maharaj, that now in the Bhagavatam where we are, we're more approaching to the shore of the 10th canto where Krishna,
Yeah. Yeah, we are approaching the 10th canto now. Normally, if you have studied every verse from the 1st to the 9th canto, in association of devotees, something must have happened in your heart. That if it's done properly, then one should be near the liberated platform. But usually it doesn't happen yet. But some purification is there. So we start again the Bhagavad. But anyway, that's also we can read Krishna book. That's very good. That's different from the 10th canto, in the sense that Srila Prabhupada mixes it with philosophy, so that we cannot misunderstand it. And that's very good. Good, thank you very much. Shantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.